Right, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator with Cookie Pirate. Let's get the game pulled up. Loaded in. Today we're going to be doing a flight from Uapo'u in the Marquesas Islands to Hiva. Just as a second as I get it pulled together. Come on. Have the game loaded up earlier. Okay, there we go, we're in. Okay, so we're going from Uapo'u to Atuona, 73 nautical miles. This says 45 minutes. It will not be nearly that much. This will probably be less than a half-hour flight. Only be cruising at 9,000 feet. Let's load in. Let me get this going. After this, there's a good chance we'll do another flight, perhaps picking up from where we were before. Oh, yeah. Look at that. I forgot to mention. That's of how great of a view you have. Shouldn't be on the runway. That's not right. It should have been from the ramp. I gotta load this back in. Should have been right there. Alright, let's see if it loads right this time. I was gonna say though, you take a look at the view of the airport. It's right on the coast, a steep downhill as you're taking off. And you have to land. Whoa, that's kind of weird with the trees right there. You have to land in the opposite direction. Alright, so we are on the ground, loaded up, and this is how simple this is. We don't even need a pushback. All we do is taxi out, taxi down, and then we start flying. So we're going to get everything set up with our autopilot. Okay. Wait to check the pre-flight. Documents are on board, avionics are off, battery 2 master switch on. Okay, so that's setting up there. PFD's coming on, the essential bus voltage is good. Flat position light is out. Battery 1 on. Avionics cooling fan is audible. I don't need to do any de-icing, anything like that, so we can skip down to the pitot heat, turn that on. We probably won't even need that today. Check lights. Let's go to the exterior of the airplane. Nav light's on, landing light is on. I just saw the strobe lights, so those are on. We're good to go back into the cockpit. Okay, the lights is needed. Fuel quantity is good. We can leave that set on there. Flaps to 100. Battery switch is off. Circuit breakers are all in. Fire extinguishers charged and available. Emergency egress hammer is available in the center console. Caps handle is disabled in-game. Pre-flight is complete. Weight and balance is within limits. Emergency equipment is on board. Passengers, we're not carrying any. Seat belts, and harnesses are adjusted and secured. And let's go ahead and start the engine. Brake is set. Battery master switches, we could turn them back on. No external power needed. Strobe lights are on. Mixture is full rich. Power is full forward. Fuel pump goes to boost. Propeller is clear. Pull the throttle back to about a quarter. Alright, engine is on. Power lever comes back to idle. The mixture will stay full rich because we have a short taxi. Oil pressure is good. Alternator on. Alternator on. Avionics on. Exit checklist. I'm gonna do the run up here, so we'll turn nav lights on, landing lights on. Ice light can stay off, pitot heat does not need to come on. Those are all good. Alright, for our autopilot, we want to set the altitude. We're going to be cruising at 9,000 feet, so let's... There we go. Vertical speed, well, we'll have to set that in the air. Okay, we'll review the route we line up for departure. Doors are latched, caps handle, we don't do seat belts. Air conditioner we don't need. Fuel quantity is good. Fuel tank we don't need to change. Fuel pump is boosted, mixture is full rich. Flaps to 50%. Test the autopilot.
Engaging autopilot.
It's good. Okay, those are all good. Okay, power to 1700 RPM. Yeah, come down just a little bit. Alright, alternator is good. Pitot heat will turn on and make sure that we don't have any resulting loss of power. Oh, we're good. Lights are on, annunciators. Voltage is good. We can turn the pitot heat off. Nav lights will leave on, landing light will leave on because we're taxiing out right for a departure. Magneto check. Don't want to see this drop more than about 50. It's good. That's good. Power back down. Alright. CDI we need to set to the GPS. That is set. Alright, flight controls. Outside the airplane. Rudder is good. Ailerons are good. Elevator's good. Trim is auto set for takeoff. The autopilot is off. Alright. So our altitude is programmed. We'll review our route. We'll be taking off this direction off the runway. So what we'll do is we'll actually just climb and fly around the north side of the island. We'll intercept our course. We're going here, so what we'll do then is kind of turn out this way. Fly between these two islands, turn left over the bay, and come into land. Total flight time should be just over 30 minutes. And I think we are ready to taxi out. Parking brake is off. And here's the runway. And there's the water. Alright, let's just double check. Flaps should be set to 50. So we're rolling down. We are. Alright, here we go. Full power. Airspeed is alive. Engine instruments are looking good. And there's 77 knots. Up we go. Alright, we do have a positive rate of climb. Bring the flaps up. Let the nose come down just a little bit here. And we'll climb kind of at VY. This little Y will give us the best rate of climb. Alright.
Engaging autopilot.
And we will set the altitude, we'll set the vertical speed to go up. I'm about 1600 feet per minute. Alright. Now take a look at that departure. Let's begin a gradual right-hand turn. Let's not disconnect like that. Come on. That's Nuku Hiva off to the left. When we level out, we'll get a better view of it. And you can already see, I believe, yeah. So this is the direction we'll fly. So we can actually pitch back up. We'll engage the autopilot again.
Engaging autopilot.
Vertical speed, we'll still set that. And we will set the nav to intercept the GPS track. We can actually We can just fly that heading for now. Pitch up just a little. Okay. Let's real quick do our power climb. Oxygen, we don't need it. Power levers forward, mixture stays. Flaps are up. Airspeed, we're going to do slower to maintain VY. Fuel pump is on. Fuel flow, kind of high, but we're okay. And engine's looking good. Alright. Let's take a look outside. There's where we started, right there. Here's one of the villages, I think. I'm actually not very familiar with this island, but yeah, this is one of the, it's one of the villages right there. Let's just take a look right off our right wing. You can barely see it to the climb out. That's a pretty view. Off our left, Hiva is behind us, and Uahuka is ahead of us. Maybe it's kind of tough to see, but Hiva Oa is directly ahead of us. Of course, that's where we're going. Alright, even though we're not even at cruise yet, I do want to set up a plan for our approach into Hiva Oa. Go procedures, select approach, and we will do the RNAV GPS runway 2. I'll keep that zoomed out right there. We can do vectors and load. Yeah. Okay. Well, we have a rough idea where to go. The beautiful Marquesas Islands. If you zoom way in, there's Hiva. You can actually see the bay and the little town there. The airport for that island is way on the back side, and you can actually see the northernmost islands, which are uninhabited. Just passed over Uapo'u. Well, that's the one we took off from, actually. Never mind. Yeah, there's the village. There's the airport. It's gonna say Uahuka is the one that we were... That's up there. And up here is Hiva Oa, Tahuata, and Fatu'iva in the back. And we're landing somewhere over here. Might be a halfway decent day to fly. Alright, there we are, 9,000 feet. Cruise checklist. Oxygen not required. Cruise altitude is established. We can come back on the power. 30.5 is about what we want to be at. We can shut the fuel pump off. We'll adjust the mixture a little bit there. Engine's looking good. Fuel flow and balance is okay. Switch, actually, we'll go ahead and switch the tank over. Looks good. at the underside of the wings, have those flower patterns on them. I accidentally selected this, not knowing that was what was on the wings. But then I liked it when I realized it fits the Polynesia theme perfectly. That's just too pretty. Let's pull the flight plan up. That's our approach path. So this is taking us actually, that's taking us way down over, yeah. Okay. That's a lengthy approach. Alright. So let's go ahead and pull the flight plan up. Scroll down here a little bit. Yeah, that is the final approach fix. Yeah, that's a ways to go. We'll go direct here. And we'll just go ahead and follow that. Get ourselves set up on a good approach. Not exactly what I would want to do. But given that it gets really windy, we'll have a stable approach to fly from far out. So it actually is adding a little bit of time, but not too much. Don't know if we're gonna get any weather here. No. No weather at any of these airports. Heh. Beautiful view, though. Doing 177 over the ground. So, destination, it says it's gonna be... We're looking at right about 20 minutes to get on the ground. Probably a tiny bit over that, just because we'll end up slowing down for the approach. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and pull up another route here. We'll use the Sky Vector map. So this is where we're going right now. It's kind of right around like this, actually. It's the way that we're flying. After this, we could probably go kind of jump around. This is Tahiti. This is Bora Bora. This is Rangiroa, where we were yesterday. We could go up, out this way. We could go down to some of these other... Here's Whakarava, which is another popular coral atoll in the Tuamotu Islands. That would probably be about 45 minutes or so. From Whakarava, we could go Makemo. We could go straight to Makemo. That's probably an hour and 20 minutes or so. And then from there, we would go to Hao. To down here, which is Turea. To the Gambier Islands. And then from the Gambier Islands, you're almost at the Pitcairn Islands, and there is Easter Island. The other option from the Marquesas would be possible to go to Napuka, I guess, whatever this is, and then to go into the Tuamotus this way. The other interesting thing is the Austral Islands down here, but they're all pretty far. That's probably a 2-hour flight from Tahiti, and they're probably a good at least half hour from each other. Plenty of options. Thanks to our viewers for joining us for this flight here. This is a place I've always wanted to go to. Now, actually, when I first started flying in the real world, I had a not a dream like in the sense of sleep, but that was kind of one of my dreams, was to fly like island hopping routes like these in, probably didn't know of the Marquesas at the time, but in French Polynesia. Saying about 10 minutes till we get to that point. And about 15 minutes until we're on the ground. So all the islands that we saw before are all the northernmost islands of the Marquesas. These here are the southernmost. We have... I'll pull up the map, actually. You can kind of see it better from perspective. So these are all the north. Ao, Hatuta, and Motuone, which is a little coral atoll. Actually, I think it's even just a sandbar. All three of these are uninhabited. They're the northernmost in the group. Here you have Nuku Hiva, Uahuka, and Uapo, which is where we took off from. And these are technically the northern group. All three of these are inhabited. The southern group, yeah, there's a couple small little rock islands like up off of here. Yep, there's one. There's a couple others out this way. There's one. So these are the southern group. Hiva Oa, which is where we're going. Tahuata. Motane. And Fatu Hiva. But only Hiva Oa has an airport. And that's because these two islands don't really have flat lands where you could build a runway. And they have very few people living on them. And this is uninhabited. They're a little bit different from the northern islands, but they share the similar Marquesan identity. And the Marquesans, it's believed that they are the closest to the Hawaiians. In fact, it's believed that Hawaii was actually settled by people from the Marquesas that went northward. So, after looking at the map, we'll point them this way. Here's Hiva Oa. Tahuata, Fatu Hiva, and Motane over here. About 8 minutes till we get to our point to start the approach. We're getting pretty close to a point of starting our descent. I think what we'll do is get to about 5,000 feet. Cross at this. Oh no, it's actually indicating a top of descent for us. Ah, that's nice. Oh, that's handy, because that didn't do that before. Final approach. The minimum fix. Alright, I kind of like that. I don't need to collapse airways, come on. Don't delete flight plan. Not hold. No, we don't need to do any of that there. Alright, there we go, nice and zoomed in here. Okay, those are looking good. ready to start our descent here in just a moment. You get quite a view over there. Short distance further, we'll go ahead and start our descent. We'll go down about 800 feet per minute. Alright, here we go. Power back to about 40% on the RPM. Or no, the RPMs will stay constant, I should say, on the power set. And we'll dial our altitude down and we'll start a vertical speed on to descend 800 feet per minute. You know what? Actually, let's bring it down to 1,000. That's smart to catch up there. We'll come back a little more on the power too. Keep our speed up. I'm waiting to activate vector to final. Okay, there we are. Hiva right off our left wingtip. And basically what we're going to do is when we reach the front of this island here, we're going to turn and follow the coast. And that's going to point us right in line. So this is saying 4,500 feet is where we need to... No. I messed that up. Back on the power just a little bit here. One of the villages on Tahuata. There's the airport. There's our turn, and then we'll pick this course up and continue turning. We basically fly right over the coast of the island, and then we turn in, and there's the runway. And we should be on the ground in just over, I would say, about 5 minutes. Set that there to pick up the glide slope here. Let's turn nav back on. And we'll intercept this course. And take a look at the view right here. Boy, is that pretty. Back there's Uapua where we took off, and then Nuka Hiva. And you can kind of see Uahuka in the background. Well, not with the the window in the way. So we're basically going to stay. Keep the descent going down here. Basically 1900 feet. That's as low as we can go on the approach until we're landing assured. Alright, final checklists. Seatbelts and shoulder harnesses are secure. The fuel pump needs to go to boost, mixture full rich. Do we need to change tanks? Yeah, let's go ahead. Alright. Let's pull power back. We're losing our descent rate again. Let's go idle power. Let's keep going down like that there. Alright, our speed is below, I believe it's 140 that we're allowed to do 50% flaps. That'll help us get stable on the approach. Now we need to continue our descent a bit. Yeah, we're coming in pretty high here. It's okay. Now take a look at that right there. That's pretty. We're flying right over the town of Atuona. There's Motane in the background. Or well, off the right wing. Kind of is in the back. Alright. We are slow enough we can go full flaps. And then let's add a little power in to keep our speed up. Let's take a little power out. We're a little bit high. It's manageable. Absolutely beautiful day. Look at that down there too. Wow. So let's screenshot that. You can't get a prettier picture. Alright, we're slowed about 85 knots. We're tracking our approach pretty well. Let's keep the power in right at that. We'll have to disengage the autopilot at about 1900 feet. We are losing a little bit of power, so or a little altitude, so let's come up on descent rate. Just a little bit. We're a little bit off course. We're getting pushed by these winds. Alright. We are at just about 1900 feet. Let's disengage the autopilot and we'll fly this by hand. A little bit of course correction over here. Keeping the power in. We are low. We need to come up a bit. Power in. We're looking better on the approach rate. It is bumpy over here. Always get those heavy crosswinds over here. Thanks to the valley. Woo! Add power. Let's come up on flaps.
500. Stall.
Oh, we're okay. Alright, power out. Yeah, this is always a tough landing. Power out. We're gonna land with 50 degrees of flaps just because of the winds here. Easy. Easy. And we are touching down long. Bleed the speed off. Easy. And we are on the ground. Alright, that always gets kind of tough there, right there on final, just because of the way those winds are. Alright, let's turn out here. And let's just angle around. Roll back down the runway. Not a very good landing, but hey, we made it. Look at this view from the airport. There we are. I'm not sure where exactly we're supposed to go. Maybe over here? We'll park over here. Alright, we made it. Let's go ahead and set the parking brake. Flaps are up. Avionics off. Turn all our lights off here. Let's go ahead and turn the alternators off. And there we go. Engines are shut down. Welcome to Hiva, folks. And just look at the views you get out there. A little bit of a terrain render problem. But yeah. Overall, quite nice. Pretty rock kind of setup up there. Okay. Let's go ahead and back to the menu. And let's see what other flight we may want to do. So let me pull Sky Vector back up. We could take off from here. And we can go over these coral atolls. if I just take a look and say we're going to start here at Rangiroa. And we're going to go to Fakarava just to start. NTGF. We'll do about 200 on the ground. And we would go, so that's 43 minutes. If we change that to go to Makamo, it should become about an hour and 15 minutes. About an hour 20. The other thing we could do is always the classic Tahiti to Bora Bora. I actually think maybe we could try. Out that way. I'd love to get to the Gambiers. That's way down here. That's a long flight. It kind of makes a triangle. You go from Tahiti and Bora Bora. These are what they call the Society Islands. To the Marquesas, to the Gambiers, and the Tuamotus are all kind of within that triangle. But each of these is probably about a 4-hour flight. And then the Austral Islands are down here. Yeah. Let's see here. So we can do we can do Rangiroa. And the question is, do we go all the way to Fakarava, or do we go all the way to Makemo? There's actually very little out here. Baide. Yeah, let's go here. Why not? Let's go to Makemo. 2 hours 20 minutes is not going to be that long. 250 nautical miles though. This might be the longest flight we've done so far. But we'll see. Yeah, that's a far way. Why not? Why not? I may not stream the entire flight just because it's going to be a lot of time just spent kind of sitting at cruise altitude. But, let's see, 135 at 16 knots. That's pretty windy. Alright, let's see here. I'm gonna skip through all of this. I mean, we have the, we've done all these checklists and stuff like that. We kind of want to get the flight moving. Brakes are set. Turn the battery master switches on. Clear. This just sits here. I don't know if there's a way to get them to go away or something. But realistically, we'd clear the prop area. Pull the throttle back just a little bit here. And let's go ahead and start the engine. And we're started. Alright, engine will leave. Bring the alternator on, and we'll go ahead and turn the avionics on. Oil pressure's good. It's going to be a fairly lengthy flight. We're going to cruise at 21,000 feet. We can cruise at 25. No, you know what? Let's do that. Let's cruise at 25,000 feet. It's gonna be a long flight. We may as well. Let's just do a run-up right here. That way, I mean, we can turn the de-icing off. We will need the pitot heat on because we're going over 20,000 feet. I think it actually toggles to come on at 14,000. It is 82 degrees Fahrenheit here on Rangiroa. Alright, let's go ahead and taxi out. Disengage the parking brake. Alright, here we go. Clear left, clear right, and let's begin our taxi. Oh, come on. We're gonna back taxi. So we'll turn this way. And we got a way to roll down the runway. We'll keep our speed up as we're moving. And again, this is Rangiroa, the Coral Atoll. Get that ocean right off or right side, and that's the actual ocean. On the left, we have the Coral Lagoon. I think we maybe could have taken off if we just turned right. That's the way we want to take off because of the wind. I mean, look at that wind cone. It's pointing like straight out. That tells you it's really windy. Let's get on the brakes here. Kind of getting some help being pushed by the wind. And let's loop around here. Easy on the brakes. Let's get nice and lined up. Alright, real quick, let's make sure the flaps are at 50%, which they were not, so it's good we set that. Check it. Mixture is full forward. Fuel tanks are set. And basically, as soon as we get airborne, we're going to trigger the autopilot on. Here we go for takeoff. That's how strong the wind is. We have a lot of crosswind, so we're going to need a lot of rudder just to kind of help input for that. Airspeed is alive. Engine instruments are green. We're at 77. We can rotate. Let's tap the brakes gently. And we're up. And autopilot
Engaging
on.
autopilot.
Altitude on. And navigation on. There we are. And here we're flying over. I mean, here's the airport, there's the town, but then there's, yeah, flaps can come up. Forget that. There we go. Flaps are coming up. And we can actually pitch for this higher climb rate. So this is the main town on the island. Or I should say on the atoll. You have all these motus that kind of make up the atoll. And then we have the harbor, and there's another town kind of right here. And a little inlet over here. And you can still almost not even see like all the way around. This is the largest coral atoll in the Tuamotu Islands. And in fact in all of French Polynesia. And I think there are only 2 in the world that are bigger. Now you can kind of see the pattern of it. There's a lot of grape plantations. You also do get some pearl farms. In the real world, this water would be a little bit more turquoise. The simulator doesn't quite get that, but this still does a pretty great job of depicting the land, the terrain, everything like that properly. It really is well done. Come down on that. So this is saying 2 hours and 42 minutes. Of course, that's it. So we're getting a pretty steep headwind right now. So we may actually end up taking a fair bit of time. Once we level off and get a better ground speed, we'll be. Then if you turn and look out backwards this way, well, I can't really see it right here, but Tikahau is in the back here. That's all of where we're going. And for comparison, if we zoom all the way out, Tahiti is right here, Bora Bora is over here, and then the Marquesas are up here, and the Gambier Islands are still off the map. Yeah, they would be out kind of on here. They're small, so they're tough to see. Trying to get our best, let's actually try this. Actually, I haven't tried that. Try to pick up speed a little bit here. Now we still haven't finished passing over Rangiroa. The headwinds are strong over here. I wonder if at altitude we're gonna get a better rate. That shows you still how far we have to go to even just clear out a little bit from there. You can still see it right here. And we're up at 12,000 feet. And you're not going to see much out this way for a bit. Yeah, we're still getting some pretty stiff headwinds up here. It does look like they're starting to smooth out a little bit as we get higher. It is a little bit bumpy up here. Let's take a quick look outside. Yeah, look at that. That's the atoll. That's how large it is out here. And now you can start seeing a couple more of the formations. A lot of water to be flying over. There's the airport we took off from. It's just right there. Don't we wish we were kind of in a jet right now? I thought I was in a little bit of trouble there on that landing. Stay. That's the speed I want to stay at for this climb. So let's actually go ahead and turn that on. Winds are still a little choppy up here. Whoa. Alright, there we go. 20,000 feet. We can actually go ahead and set standard pressure. We usually do that at 18,000. The good news is the winds haven't really continued to pick up, but they're still staying at a steady what we had before. It was 82 degrees on the ground, and up here at 20,000 and change, it is 18 degrees. Fuel imbalance, we need to switch tanks. That happens on the climb if we don't switch them. A lot of ocean out here. We're gaining altitude. It's our true airspeed is going up, which means our time en route is shorter. We're gonna level off at 25,000 feet here in just a short time. You can tell our rate of climb is kind of slowing down a little bit. Passing 23,000 feet. $24,000. It'll still take us about another minute to get up to cruising altitude. So that's Rangirola. We finally have passed over the last of it. Massive. Hold this up, where we're going to be passing over is Arutua, Kaukura, Apataki, nothing here, Aratika, Fakarava, Kauehi, one without an airport, Katiu, and then Makemo. So there's quite a ways to go. If we wanted to continue through the Tuamotus to get to the Gambiers, then where we would go next would probably be to Hao, and then down here to Tureia, and then it would be a relatively, let's see, Hao, well, that's shorter than that, and then Tureia, yep, it's actually even a little bit shorter, and then to the Gambiers would be about the same distance. So it'd be 3 relatively equal hops of probably about an hour each. Maybe not even quite that much. And I don't think this plane would have the range to make it to Easter Island, although it might. If you got a really good day for wind, it probably would. Alright, we've leveled off at 25,000 feet. It is 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Nice and cool. Cruise checklist. Oxygen would be required. Of course, it's disabled in the sim. Cruise altitude is established. Our cruise has come up a bit. We can go ahead and power back. Actually, at altitude, we're not really going to get a whole lot more power until we would lean we'd realistically lean the mixture out a bit, but we're gonna keep the full power in. I don't think that's affecting. It does affect fuel burn a tiny bit. I don't think it's gonna be consequential enough. You'd be at 30 on cruise, but it says 30.5 or less. Fuel pump we can turn off. Oh, not prime. Mixture, engine parameters, fuel flow and balance, and we'll have to continue flipping back and forth between that. And we have an hour and 2 minutes. Yeah, so right about an hour in cruise, and oh, and I pulled my map up. Oh, you all couldn't see it. Let me pull this back up. Yeah, I'll bring that up real quick. So, what we're looking at passing over all of these that I mentioned is Arutua, and we're about here in our flight right now. It's got a ways to go, but our speed has really picked up. Arutua, Kaukura, Apataki, as we're going directly over. We'll have Fakarava off just to our right. At the same time, Aretika, and then Kauehi, one that doesn't have an airport, and then Katiu, and then Makemo. And Makemo is unique because it's kind of open. If we were to get to the Gambier, what we would probably do is go from Makemo to Hao, and then down here to Tureia, and then jump down here to the Gambier Islands. Totegagia is the airport, I guess if I'm saying that right. And then from here, I don't think the plane would have enough range to make it to Easter Island here, although it might. I think if in the right circumstances, you probably could get it to reach. I don't know for sure though. Oh, now look at that. That's cool. It's got a bit of a view. I'm still here. Just while we're sitting in cruise, kind of working on a couple things. And one thing I've thought of doing is getting little indicators where you all can see like the control input that I have. We're doing 200, so there's only about a 12 to 13 knot headwind. So we're actually doing 205 across the ground, only a 54 minutes en route. So we probably have another hour in the air. And yeah, I actually get quite a pretty view up here at 25,000 feet. There's Arutua. Talked about passing that one. And if we take a quick look outside, here's what we can see. This is Apataki. Arutua is right here. This is back here is Rangiroa. And we started somewhere about back there. Tiki House behind it. If we were to go back to Tahiti, it would be out in that direction there. I don't remember what the name of this one is. I'll tell you. That one there is Kaukura. And then there's another one without an airport, and then Fakarava on the right. Would be the third one there. So not this second one, but then Fakarava's out here. It's kind of tough to see right now. Terrain just needs to render a little bit. We're still so high up at altitude, it doesn't matter too much. I actually just barely start to see Fakarava in the distance. Kind of right out here. There's the next one to the north up there. Back into the cockpit. It is 0 degrees up here at altitude. Far cry from 82 degrees that was at the ground. Yeah, we've got 48 minutes en route. We're not looking bad. Whoops. I'm doing about 204 over the ground. About a 12 to 13 knot headwind. That's actually really not bad. So we just passed over Apataki. This here is the unnamed, and then there's this little... Not really sure what that there is. Fakarava starts right here. In fact, there's the airport. That's about the halfway mark. Now, when we pass over Fakarava, or well, I should say, when we pass the airport right off our right wingtip, we'll be right at halfway. And then we'll begin a descent once we get to about Katiu, and it will be a straight in right down to the runway on Makimo. It's a very easy flight, actually. You just take off and then you cruise and you come down. You hardly have any turns. So it's very simple to fly, which is nice. Okay, so that's Aratika off our left, and then Kawehi. So, Aratika and Kawehi is out here. Right here is the unnamed lagoon. This down here is called Niau, or how you say it. Niau, Niau. And then again, Fakarava down here. And yeah, after Kawehi, there's a couple others. Back into the airplane. go ahead and switch tanks. So I'm just checking the fuel. Our fuel burn is 25 gallons per hour. And we have about 24 and about 42 minutes to go. So we should be landing with plenty of reserves. One thing I thought of doing, and I'll actually pull the display capture up, is kind of a route around not only just French Polynesia, but Polynesia itself, which extends all the way from New Zealand. And then you'd have to get over here to Chatham Island. And then it would be a lot of island hopping somewhere. We may have to go... It won't reach from New Zealand to Rarotonga. You could go to Tonga itself. I think Fiji would be too far. So we'd actually probably have to go out through some of these islands here. Norfolk Island. To go from New Zealand. We started on the South Island here. All these places. Invercargill. Or Invercargill, however you say that. Dunedin. I learned is the way you see that. Say that. Then you could go to Christchurch. Up the coast, or even over the mountains. And then you have Nelson, Woodbourne, and then onto the North Island, you'd have Wellington, Palmerston, New Plymouth. You could go all the way up to Hamilton, or maybe even Auckland. I think that would be too far to go in one jump. You'd be going basically from somewhere around here to here or here, and then up to here, then to there, somewhere around here to Auckland, and then you'd probably make a stop maybe here to Norfolk Island, however you say this, Tondouta. No, Maya. I think this is what that... And, yeah, be doing a lot of jumping around out through some of these. These are parts of Fiji, I'm pretty sure. These here are the, pretty sure one of these is a canal. These are the Solomon Islands. So be going out through here. Nauru. Kiribati. Tuvalu. Wallis. And Futuna somewhere down here. Samoa. I think these are more Cook Islands. No, these are Cook Islands. Here's Tahiti. Hawaii's all the way up here, so you'd be hopping all over the place to try to get out through some of these. I don't even know if it's possible, actually, in this plane. You may have to take a jet. I really don't know. It'd be cool to try. It'd be super cool to try, but I don't know if it's possible. Certainly, I mean, we could hop throughout French Polynesia. You could go these 4. You could actually go from here out to the Cook Islands and back. I don't know. May need more range. Of course, going through all the Society Islands, the Tuamotus, up to the Marquesas and back, and then out to Gambier Island and back that way. You could actually even go to Rhea, to this place. And down to the Australs. The only thing we wouldn't get to really is the Rapaiti, because there's no airport, although you could do that in a seaplane. Cool thing to be, try to get out to Easter Island if it was possible. Alright. So let's go back into the simulator here. See what we're coming up on. Yeah, so we're right about the halfway point here. We're saying about 35 minutes more en route. So we're looking at Arotika and then Kauwehi. Fakarava off our right. The one up ahead, I believe, is... it doesn't have an airport. Nope, no, yeah, this one does. This one over here does not. That's Kauwehi right here. And then Makemo is going to be this kind of... Can't really see it well, but it's going to be this stretch right out here. Goes kind of like that. There's Fakarava right off a right wingtip. That's the halfway point. We are halfway through. And that's a pretty view. Just look at all those in the back. The sun is just starting to come down. "34 minutes en route." Still between 10 and 15 knot headwinds up here. That's not too bad. Some light turbulence. It's not bad. We're still making actually pretty good time. A half hour en route. So this right up here is Kawehi. The next one is... I'm not sure. It doesn't have an airport on it. I mean, I could probably look it up on another map to get the name of it. In fact, I'll do that just for knowledge's sake. And the next one after this one would be Makemo. Raraka. Fun name to say. Raraka. And there's a very small village on it. No airport. So the only way to get to it, I guess, is to go into Kawehi and then just sail. Or you could go to Katu and sail, since it's in between the two. Katu, I think, has very little on it. It looks almost uninhabited. Just for fun, let's look it up. Alright, let's see here. Raraka has 96 people living on it. That's it. 96 people. And Katu has 250. Okay, well, I missed the town then. Oh, here it is. Yeah, okay. I'll pull the Google Earth up. Yeah, so here's the town of Katu. Or Towini, I guess is the name. The atoll of Katu. But there's no air... Yeah, the airport's over here. And then you have 96 people that live on Raraka here. And the town is right over here. And there's no airport. Vakarava is the second largest, and I think it's the second most populated as well. I know Ranjiro is the first of both of those categories. It's the largest and the most populated. So if we wanted to continue on, we would be going... Here's Makemo. So, we've made it... a fair ways. So we're going to here. Next we would go to here. And then we would go... here? Maybe? Yeah. We'd fly over those down to Gambier. Here's the Pitcairns, and then Easter Island right there. So yeah, that's where all those are. "28 minutes en route." "25,000 feet. Quite a view. still picking up pretty good speed. 24 minutes to go. Oh, look at that small atoll out there. And that there is Tyaro. And it... Does it have an airport? Don't think so, no. Yeah, it is uninhabited. Looks kind of pretty though. One thing worth mentioning. So we're about here right now in our route. So we're about 70% of the way there. There's these 4, and then there's actually a 5th, I guess, up here. That are too far north that we couldn't see before. And then you have the island of Napuka and Puka Puka. And these are basically the gateway into the Marquesas if we were to fly that way. There's a whole ton of these. This covers so much area. If you zoom out, and this is the Earth. This is the Earth. And where we started is here, and to there, and there. The Gambiers are down here. Tahiti and Bora Bora are about here, respectively. The Marquesas. So this covers a ton of territory. That's Hawaii. That's New Zealand. And Easter Island is out. About, yep, right there. Yeah. So this covers a massive part of the world. It's really something. Alright, well, we're getting pretty close in here. So we're over Katu, and you can actually see Makemo out here. It's kind of curve-shaped one, and the airport's going to be right out there. 18 minutes en route. It's going to be a little longer than that. Looks like it might be starting to get a little bumpy. Let's go ahead and load up a procedure. And we'll go ahead and use the RNAV. Akusa or Macom. Let's set vectors. And we'll just load. And let's go ahead and just zoom out on the map a little bit, and we'll see if either of those come up. Akusa, yeah, no, we're gonna stick with vectors, because we're gonna go toward Akari. In fact, what we'll actually do, we'll pull the flight plan up. And that's the final approach fix. So we will go direct to Akari. We'll activate that. And it probably will have told us to go ahead and start our descent. Fuel imbalance, we need to go ahead and switch tanks again. And yeah, we're running a little low, but we've got plenty enough to make it in here. Alright. So let's go ahead and just throttle back a bit. And we will lower the altitude. Vertical speed on. We'll start a descent down at 1200 feet per minute, and we'll just evaluate from there. So there's Makemo. We're probably flying right over Katu right now. Let's just actually go on the outside view real quick. Yeah, so this is Makemo. Yep, there it is, Katu. There's a couple others that we were looking at. That's a pretty picture. About that. There's an atoll way down here that we can't really see right now, called Anaa. That's another popular one. Be a couple kind of up this way that we can't really see. Yeah, they're pretty far out. Let's go power idle. Let's just steepen our descent a bit. Got plenty of time and room to descend. I suppose what we could do is a descent checklist while we're right. Oxygen we would leave on. Of course it isn't enabled. We'll set the altimeter once we get to 18,000 feet. Our lights are on. Fuel system. We are running low. But we will have enough to make it into the destination, especially burning little at this current rate. This is saying only about another 13 minutes en route. Power is required, mixture is required, brakes are good, and engine settings are all looking good. Let's pull up the weather if we can. Going into Makimo, no weather available. None in any of these. Kinda need the weather. We'll be okay. Close out of that. It is pretty. That's a lot of ocean. I always kind of just wonder if there's any chance to get the weather. The airport doesn't even come up as I search for it. Whatever. Don't need no weather. Alright, we are below 18,000 feet, so we'll set the altimeter setting. And we can continue our descent all the way down to... This is saying 1,500 feet for the approach. I kind of feel like continuing to fly. Maybe I'll do one more after this. let's I'll zoom in and check a couple. So GM401 is the final approach fix. I think we can slow our rate of descent. Add a little bit of power in. So we want to cross Akari at just over 3,000. So we want to get to... I mean, we're only at 12,000 feet. And we have 9 minutes to destination and 5 to the fix. So yeah, actually we can continue our descent down at this rate. Pull the power back. We are starting to slow down some. Yeah, okay. So I think, yeah, that's got to be it right there. Yeah, there it is. And this just kind of comes around like a big curve. Yeah, so once we hit Akari, we'll line up on the final approach path, and then we'll come in and land. Should be on the ground in about 10 minutes, we'll say. Maybe 12. Actually, it was a pretty good lengthy flight, now that I'm thinking about it. Nothing out that way, a couple out that way. Get something to look at. So in about 6 minutes or so, we'll be on the ground. Add a little bit of power in. There's the atoll. Part of it, at least. And I think the town is just up this way. Out here on the island. Where the airport is. Skip this music. Alright, yeah, it looks like we are about on track here. Gonna have to pull back on the power though. Raise that level of descent just a little bit. Still needs to set it at about 600. Alright, we're on final approach. Let's do a before landing checklist. Seatbelts and shoulder harnesses are secure. Fuel pump will turn to boost. Mixture goes full rich. Let's check, do we need to switch fuel tanks? We're on the right tank. Let's leave it on the right. We go ahead and put flaps in at 50. And we'll add some power here. We need to reduce our rate of descent. Activate vectors to final. We should pick up the final approach fix here in just a moment. We have a good rate of descent. Continue down. This is saying we should be on the ground in 4 minutes. Be over the final approach fix in just not even that long. Let's pull back on the power just a little bit. We will continue this descent all the way down. This should follow a descent rate down. Alright, start nosing down on the glide slope. No, that isn't gonna do it. Just about 1,400 feet. Look at the view. That's pretty. Let's go ahead and go full flaps. On the right speed. We're about on the glide slope, which is good. Add a little bit of power in. So we want to keep about this 85, about 85. We actually do have a pretty steep headwind, not much crosswind component though, so that's good. You can actually see how slow we're going now. This is saying we'll be on the ground in about 2 minutes. Yeah. We're a little bit off course on the approach. Let's go ahead and turn the autopilot off and fly the rest of the way in. Let's get back on course. Look at that view as we're coming down. That's pretty.
500.
Falling a little bit below the glide path. Let's add a little power. When we have full flaps, it becomes kind of tricky because we start... Feels like we start dropping really fast. Now we're high. This is how touchy these are. Take the power out. Oh, come on. Down we go. Oop. Out. A little bit hard on the landing. Not too bad. It's not bad at all, actually. Let's keep our speed up. Alright, what we can do... Mixture full forward, flaps up, and we'll just continue to roll until we get to the braking point, which would be at our turnoff. 21 knots on the headwind, so it's very breezy, but it's almost straight down the runway, which is nice. And yeah, it's all the way at this end. Alright, let's taxi in. Fuel low total. Yep. Well, we made it with just the right amount of room. Not really sure why they have us parking over here. Nice little Skyhawk on the ramp. Alright. And we'll go ahead and set the parking brake here. Alright. Heat heat off. All these off. Lights off. Avionics off. Alternators can come off. Key comes off. And... hour and 29 minutes for the flight. That's not bad. From Rangiroa to Makemo. And so let's just go ahead and continue the shutdown process. There we go. How about that? Alright, now I'm debating if we want to do one more. Let's go ahead and back to the main menu. I don't think Makemo has a lot of people on it. Actually no, it's got a pretty sizable crew, about 800 people living on it. That's not bad. Oh, okay, so Makemo actually, I'll pull this up so you all can see it. Makemo actually is a loop. It's just that this is all like beach and stuff and didn't get rendered in. Interesting. Huh. Okay. There's the town. It's a fair ways up from the airport, though. There's the airport. These are all the vineyards. There you have a small, I think, a small resort. Wow. So you'd have to take off and then fly a fair ways up. But yeah, that's actually a decent sized little community. How about that? Alright, let's see. It's getting late. If we go Makemo to Hao, it's gonna be over water, and it's gonna be almost the same flight time. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a night here, and we'll pick back up with this another time. Thank you all for tuning in, for flying with me.